What's up, Carl Vinson? This is MC3 Shantice Gonzalez bringing you the 70, a program that shows you what's going on around the ship and takes you deeper into the lives of your fellow shipmates. Now let's take a look at what's going on around the deck plates. As the saying goes, choose your rate, choose your fate. Petty Officer James Guthrie follows some of your fellow sailors to see what it's really like to live a day in their rate. Here is the second installment to our series, A Day in the Life of Explosive Ordnance Disposal Sailors.
My favorite part of the job has got to be waking up every morning and it not being the same thing over and over again. We can respond 3,000 different ways to the same problem.
Not many jobs in the civilian world can tout such a bold claim. Here in the United States Navy, this occupational characteristic seems to be more prevalent than ever. As an explosive ordnance disposal technician, there's no such thing as an ordinary day. And while EODs are not normally part of Carl Vinson's in-port working environment, when we are underway, they provide a wealth of support and experience.
On board the USS Carl Vinson, we can do a number of different things. We can do IED response. We can do anti-terrorism force protection dives, which fly ahead to where the carrier is going to be, make sure everything is safe and that hasn't been bombed or mined or anything like that. We also do any kind of diving for ship's husbandry and flight deck response. Any kind of ordnance damage on flight wreck, we would be responsible for the call there too.
Prior to joining, EOD2 Lee had an idea of what the life of an EOD was like, but the journey he took to discover more about his job surpassed his expectations.
What I knew for sure was they got to do a lot of cool stuff like diving, shooting, skydiving, stuff like that. What I didn't know was that there's a whole range of ordnance like nuclear source recovery, chemical and biological weapons disposal. Primarily, I just thought it was going to be IEDs.
Because every day and every mission is different from the last, Lee continually finds enjoyment in his rate.
Most fun thing we've done so far, I think, was the fast roping and rappelling out of the helos onto the flight deck.
The thrills that come with being an EOD are matched by a great deal of pride.
EOD is the best rate in the Navy, hands down. We can skydive from 30,000 feet, dive all the way down to 300, and we get to do everything in between.
Reporting for the 70, I'm Petty Officer James Guthrie.
Hi, my name is P.S.P. Smith, and I got my pin thanks to Surface Warfare University. Before, I never thought I'd be able to get my pin. Seeing that as I work all day, and it's hard to get my quals at times.
Here at Surface Warfare University, students study in our state-of-the-art laboratories and get hands-on training from the industry's top professionals.
Hello, I'm Professor Love from Swoon University. If you're not enrolled in East Los University, you're like this guy running on a treadmill, going nowhere fast.
They make it really easy to understand, and they make getting the EP a piece of cake.
4 out of 5 Surface Warfare University graduates get promoted by their chain of command. It means more money on your cash card.
It gave me the confidence I need to succeed and get out there on those deck plates. I feel great. It feels like I'm finally taking control of my life and my career. Thanks, SWU.
Hi, I'm Assistant Dean Johnson. Here at Swoon University, we care about the total sailor. How do I know? We are all former alumni. This program has single-handedly spearheaded our success. Together, let's make dreams come true.
Call JDOW 6616 to enroll now and jumpstart your career today. Don't wait.
Maintaining military bearing and professionalism is a big part of being a sailor. In our next story, Petty Officer Andrew Haller takes a walk up to the 09 level to help us better understand what happens on the bridge and how we should conduct ourselves there.
The Navy has a rich history of customs and traditions that have been instilled in generations of sailors. These traditions and customs help maintain the highest standard of professionalism. This is especially apparent on the bridge of any warship.
It should be as a professional environment. You know, there's a lot going on. We're recovering and launching aircraft, so it should be a quiet environment so those who are in charge with that can have their full attention towards flight operations or to whatever's going on else throughout the ship. But it should be quiet, you know, people should be able to sharp uniform.
But before you can even enter the bridge, there are some important rules you need to know.
Bridge etiquette is extremely important. If you want to come up to the bridge or you need to deliver a message to the officer of the deck, there is a placard on the door when you enter the bridge that goes over these simple rules. So in case you forget, make sure you always come covered, underway. When you walk into the bridge, come to attention and salute the OD and request permission to enter the pilot house. As long as the OD isn't too terribly busy, he will give you permission, and sometimes I'll ask you to state your business.
From our commanding officer to the helmsman and lee helmsman, the bridge is a busy place where sailors work together to ensure smooth operations.
You have your officer of the deck, which is overall in charge of the pilot house. He's designated by the commanding officer to be his representative on the bridge when the CO is absent. You have a conning officer, which drives the ship, gives the helm course and speed changes. You have a JOW, which is a junior officer to watch. He's the person taking all of your tactical information, breaking all of your tactical signals. You have a quartermaster to watch, in charge of fixing the ship's position, where our intended movements are. You have a boatswain to watch, which is in charge of all the listed watch stations on the bridge, to include the helmsman and lee helmsman and all of our lookouts.
With all this going on simultaneously, it's easy to see why it's so important to conduct yourself professionally. When reporting to or working in the pilot house, be sure you follow proper bridge etiquette. Reporting for the 70, I'm Petty Officer Andrew Haller.
War, terrible war. Join your brothers in arms in the ongoing campaign against the dirt. From the outside to inside, muck, soil, blight, and downright nonsense run rampant with none to stop them but the brave men and women of the USS Carl Vinson. From 0730 to 815. Uncleanliness goes against all the values we as Americans hold dear. Freedom, justice, and hygiene. If you see a patch of dirt, pick it up. What are you, lazy bones? We on the Carl Vinson are equipped with the finest cleaning materials known to mankind. Show that dirt what's for. Give that muck a rap on the jaw for old Uncle Sam. With your foxtail, of course. He's doing his part. Swell job, Billy. Find your nearest cleaning gear locker and report for duty. This has been a message from the USS Carl Vinson.
Are you seeing this? This means you do what I say. I want an A2 composite. You gave me A3. The colors don't match. All right, when are you gonna hire my scrubs? Why can't you listen? Get out of here. Get out of my dreams all die from where you're standing on your own. It's so quiet here, and I feel so cold. This house no longer feels like home.
Proper sea state is pivotal for successful flight operations. In our next story, Petty Officer Samuel Lacane shows us how being able to accurately predict the weather keeps our aircraft flying and our pilots safe.
There are many aspects of weather that dictate how and when pilots can safely land and take off from the flight deck. With the help of precise instruments, aerographers' mates, evaluate the sea state to ensure Carl Vinson is where it needs to be to safely conduct flight operations.
The observations that they take are absolutely critical. The pressure that they record, the pilots use that so they know how much density in the air there is to help the aircraft lift, and then upon recovery, that bit of cushion. It's all that information plays a big role in conducting safe flight operations.
But it's not only the atmospheric pressure that affects our aircraft. The condition of the sea plays a big role in our flight operations.
Particularly with the beginning of our underway period, sea heights wasn't really an issue at all, but it was just the swell period. Just the period of the swells alone can cause a good amount of pitch and roll to the ships and cause impacts to flight operations.
It's important for Carl Vinson's forecast
but on the bigger picture.
Severe icing, high sea states, and wind turbulence are only some examples of hazards that pilots may face. With the help of forecasters, pilots aboard Carl Vinson can predict challenges that might occur and make adjustments to keep them safe and complete the mission. Reporting for the 70, I'm Petty Officer Samuel Kane.
With nearly 5,000 sailors on a floating city, it's easy to accumulate a lot of trash. In our next story, Petty Officer Alex King shows us the steps Carl Vinson takes to protect our environment.
Waste management is a hot topic in today's society. Finding ways to minimize waste and recycle properly is a challenge Carl Vinson has stepped up to take. But why would a warship be concerned with waste management?
Well, the point of waste management is to help conserve the environment. But we have rules and regulations we have to follow, especially when we're overseas, and we can't just dump anything over the side.
With more than 5,000 people aboard Carl Vinson, waste can accumulate rapidly. In order to dispose of this waste, the ship has 3 trash plants that are tailored to dispose of soft foods, paper, and plastic.
We have equipment on the plants that are specific for plastics that gets heated up and compressed to produce hockey pucks. And also we have a pulper that pulps soft foods that go over the side. And also we have an incinerator that burns paper.
Because of the diligent efforts of the sailors aboard the ship, Carl Vinson has carried the distinction of being the greenest carrier in the fleet since the CNO's environmental awards were last released.
We implement controls to ensure that we're not dumping anything that doesn't belong out to sea. And even import, so we have a trash watch and make sure that the recyclables are separated, cardboard and paper and the rest of the garbage.
Carl Vinson will continue to properly dispose of its waste, ensuring that it maintains a high standard of environmental friendliness. Reporting for the 70, I'm Petty Officer Alex King.
This has been the 70. I'm MC3 Shantice Gonzalez, and on behalf of Carl Vinson's media department, we thank you for watching.